In this video, we're going to talk about the three common formats for numbers, fractions, decimals, and percents, and talk about how to convert between fractions and percentages. So a percent is very much what it sounds like. It's per cent, cent being 100, it's per 100. It's a ratio out of 100 pieces. So if we look in this diagram below, we have a square, and the square is broken up into 100 smaller squares. So we have 100 pieces that we've broken this square into. If you look at the shaded region, there's 12 little squares. So we can count them up: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 parts out of 100. Okay, so we can write it as 12 with the percentage symbol. So the percentage symbol standing for percent. So it's 12 per 100. This is the percent form down here. So that's the percent form format of the number. Or sometimes it's very useful to write it as a fraction. So we can write it as a ratio of 12 pieces out of 100. So that's two of our major formats, the percent format and the fraction format. In the example here, we have another square broken up into 100 pieces, and we want to know what percent of the grid is shaded. So what we're going to do is count up the number of shaded green mini squares, right? So there's 10 squares on this row, 10 squares on this row, and then that's 20, and then we have 1, 2, 3 more. So we have 23 out of the 100 mini squares here. And again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 10 more here: 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 23 squares. So that's 23 out of 100 written as a fraction. So we can write that in the fraction format. Or we can write it as 23%, right? Per 100 with the percentage symbol behind the 23. These are equivalent ways of writing the same ratio or the same quantity. So this is the percent format there. So another exercise: what percent of this grid is shaded? Well, again, we count up the number of squares, and remember, each column has 10 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 3 columns. That will give us 10, 20, 30 shaded mini squares. So 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So we have 38%. That's written in the percent format. If we wish to write it as a fraction, and sometimes it's very useful to do so, we can write that as 38 over 100. So this is the fraction format. So another similar example: write 25% as a simplified fraction. Well, if we write it as a fraction, 25% is 25 per 100. Okay, so it turns out that that number can be reduced. If we think about what makes up 25 and 100, we can divide out a similar number on top and bottom, right? The 100 is a multiple of 25, so we can actually divide out a 25 from top and bottom, as we see here. So we can write that as 25 over 100. So if we divide on top by 25 and we divide on bottom by 25, that will give us 1/4. So 1/4 is the same ratio. It looks different, but it's equivalent to 25 over 100. And we can see that picture here with a square. Instead of being broken up into 100 pieces, it's broken up into 4 pieces to represent this 1/4, right? So instead of having 100 in the denominator, we now have 4, and as we can see, we can take the same square, and instead of breaking it into 100 pieces, we can break it up into 4 equally sized pieces. So if I shade one of those 4 pieces, notice that this region has the same area as this region. So we can see graphically that 25 over 100, 25%, is also equal to 1 out of 4. And when we're doing mathematics, it's often, not always, but often easier to work with the reduced fraction. So let's write 32% as a simplified fraction. So 32%, that's 32 per 100, so that's 32 divided by 100, and then we think about common factors in the numerator and the denominator. What's common to both here? Well, both have a 4. So I can divide a 4 out of the numerator. I can divide a 4 out of the denominator. So that will give us 25, and then in the numerator there we will have 8.